Vic, Alicia, the decision Supreme Court Justice Diane Hathaway makes in the courtroom affect everyone in Michigan. This story is about one she made outside the courtroom. Did she get a supreme deal? It's a question she won't answer. Behind the stone walls of this gated country club are some of Central Florida's nicest homes. And nestled along the rolling fairways of its 18-hole golf course, you'll find this 4,300 square foot home on beautiful Lake Crescent. Complete with a pool and private boat dock, it was valued last year at almost $750,000. And its owner is crying poor. The owner is Justice Diane Hathaway. Last November, she convinced her bank she didn't have the money to keep making payments on her Michigan home on Lake St. Clair, even though she owned this Florida lakefront home free and clear. In fact, records show in a little over a year and a half, she's owned 4 homes, this one in Florida, and 3 in Grosse Pointe Park. The homes are part of a dizzying property shuffle that experts say raise ethical and legal questions. But Justice Hathaway has been ducking those questions for the last 6 weeks.
She learned the values of toughness, hard work, integrity.
Diane Hathaway was a Wayne County Circuit Court judge before being elected to Michigan's highest court in 2008. She ran as an ethical and accountable judge. But was she ethical in how she convinced her bank to let her out from her mortgage on this Lake St. Clair home? It saved her potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid mortgage payments. Hathaway did it by conducting a short sale. That's when a homeowner convinces the bank to sell their home at a loss rather than go into foreclosure. In this economy, with home values plummeting, lots of people try to do the same thing, but not everyone can. To qualify, a homeowner needs to prove to the bank that they can't keep making their mortgage payments because they've suffered some sort of hardship, like a loss in income. The process can take months, if not years, as Don Marquette learned. When times got tough, his grown children moved in with him and his wife, and then she lost her job. He asked the bank for a short sale. Instead, they kicked the family out of their home.
It was mortifying. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I've worked 28 years, worked all my life, and basically I felt like a bum.
As you'll see, Hathaway's story was different. She hasn't had a shortage of homes to live in. There's home number 1 in Florida, valued at about $740,000, that she and her husband bought in 1999. 2 years later, they bought home number 2 on Lake St. Clair. A few years went by, and Hathaway bought home number 3, this one on Windmill Point in Grosse Pointe Park. But then a strange real estate shuffle began. The homes were moved out of Justice Hathaway's name and into her stepkids. And it all happened just months before the bank gave Hathaway the green light for her short sale. Home number 3 on Windmill Point was moved into her 26-year-old stepson's name. Here in Florida, home number 1 was taken out of Hathaway's name and put into her stepdaughter's. A couple months later, the bank agreed to try a short sale on the Lake St. Clair home. It took months for the bank to reach its decision, and before it did, enter home number 4, this one on Grosse Pointe Park's Balfour Street. Records show it was purchased for cash, placed in Hathaway's other stepdaughter's name, and assessed at $276,000. We don't know if her stepdaughter ever lived in it, and we don't know whose cash was used to buy it, but we do know who's living there now. That's Hathaway watering the plants, and there she is being dropped off. Within a few months of purchasing the 4th home, the bank approved the short sale of Hathaway's waterfront home here on Lake St. Clair. It sold for $840,000, almost half of Hathaway's mortgage. And not long after, the property shuffle started up again. That Florida home that Hathaway put into her stepdaughter's name, it was switched back into the justice's name. The home on Balfour Street in Hathaway's other stepdaughter's name was put into Hathaway's.
It raises questions.
Attorney Howard Young specializes in asset protection and estate planning. He reviewed the timing of the property transfers, but we didn't tell him they were Hathaway's. He says, while it's difficult to know why she did what she did, the timing seems unusual.
It just sounds like, listen, I'm going to park these assets in your name for a while. There'll be deeds recorded. You'll own them for all intents and purposes. But our deal is, because, you're my child. When the trouble passes, you're going to transfer the property back to me.
For 6 weeks, we tried to talk to Hathaway. We called her and sent her emails asking why she moved properties in and out of her relatives' names and whether she told her bank. Her response, no comment.
Good morning, Your Honor.
So we had to catch up with her as she left her home. She ducked our questions again.
Shouldn't you respond to these?
Mr. Jones.
These are important questions, Your Honor.
Nothing further to say.
Without an explanation from Hathaway, it's hard to know why she shuffled her properties in and out of her name, and if it had something to do with her short sale. Howard Young says when his clients have asked about moving assets out of their names to qualify for a short sale, he's told them to be cautious.
Those are typically fraudulent transfers because they are done with the intent to delay, hinder, delay, or defraud creditors. And, you know, even as an attorney, you can very well be considered a co-conspirator in a fraud, and that has significant ethical issues, and the state bar is going to come looking.
The bank that handled Hathaway's short sale would not comment on the specifics of this deal, but said they require homeowners to disclose all properties that are in their name. We've learned that Hathaway did pay the bank $10,000 when she closed on the sale. Now, as for Don Marquette, who you saw earlier, 2 years after his bank kicked him out of his home, it decided to approve his short sale, but the damage had already been done. He and his wife nearly drained their entire retirement savings just to put a roof over their head. Now, late this morning, the Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court, Robert Young, issued a statement urging Hathaway to be forthcoming about her short sale. It reads in part, "Ordinarily, the financial transactions of any person, including a justice, are personal matters. However, the WXYZ story raises very serious allegations about Justice Diane Hathaway's financial transactions. I am naturally very concerned about these allegations. Because media allegations are just that and may fail to include a complete picture of a complex set of financial transactions, this morning I advised Justice Hathaway to respond publicly to these allegations to clear the air." We reached out to Justice Hathaway this morning to ask whether she plans to follow the Chief Justice's request. So far, Vic and Alicia, we have not heard back.
Well, these are serious ethical allegations that you have raised.